Serious former nice guys of Reddit. When and how did you change? Ended up browsing through nice guys and saw the similarities and results. Immediately focused on my own work for once. Turned 180. I was the worst. Totally I'm so in love with my best friend. Why is she dating that douche when she can be with me? I think as I got older and saw other guys doing it. It seemed so pathetic and sad that I just kind of snapped out of it. For the record, when I told that girl I loved her, she laughed. And that was the last time we ever saw each other. That might have helped with my transition. Yeah, can totally say I did this. Threw myself into someone who saw me as a friend for years. Finally got the balls to express my actual interest and she had none. I was so upset I lost interest in dating more women. By that fact, women all of a sudden became interested in me when I really didn't care. Basically, a few years ago, I really liked a girl. And she seemed to like me back. I sort of turned manipulative. But turns out she was just as bad. People always wondered what it would be like if a nice guy and nice girl got together. It's nothing but fighting and guilt. I realized how bad she was and got out of it. But in the process found out I was no good either. I changed quick after that. I don't remember what put the thought in my head. Or how I came to the conclusion. But my thought was, I want all these women. They don't seem to want me. Maybe I should focus on being the kind of guy they actually want. Instead of the one I think they want. I ended up ditching the part where I was bettering myself to get women. And just focused on bettering myself. School, career, hygiene, living situation, and women coincidentally became more interested. Man, I need to forward this to a friend. I genuinely care for him, but he's way too deep in his nice guy mode and I'm afraid he'll inch towards the incel people. He's constantly complaining about no one is interested in him and he tried everything. Whether it's paying for dinners, messaging more frequently, dressing differently. I told him a million times. It's about bettering himself and making himself a more interesting person. He thinks that'll be wasting the time he could be securing the right person. Really can't convince him. Honestly, I grew up a bit. I was tired of always feeling that way. So I decided to grow up a little bit and start making changes to better myself. If everyone ignored me, I must be the common denominator. Right? 3 years later I'm a much happier person and even my close friends had noticed the changes in my behavior. Nice guys. If you are anything like I was, you're literally making it harder on yourselves. Loved a lot of friends that didn't love me back, not an obvious nice guy. Like I did fine with casual hookups and stuff. But I would get increasingly obsessive and jealous after finally getting close enough to want to a relationship. It truly wasn't about the sex. Because we would even hook up from time to time. It's just that I have a lot of f***ed-up experiences in my past and a meaningful relationship always felt like the only way I could ever be a whole person. Even as friends. I already needed to feel a lot of control and demanded an unreasonable level commitment except to me. It was always leading to an inevitable relationship, one that would be the deepest form of love, full stop. Every single one of those friendships ended terribly. The last one was the worst. Because I was genuinely trying to be a better person this time around. And not make the same mistakes. It took a lot of therapy and thinking inwardly. But I realized that I would have been a terrible boyfriend. I was too wishy-washy about what I wanted. Because all I really wanted was to feel like I was in control and didn't have to worry about the other person's loyalty to me. I was basically addicted to a person and then got upset when they wouldn't get addicted to me back. And that is the epitome of nice guy. If you ask me. Kept trying to be better person and more emotionally stable. I'd like to think it's working. Either way, my focus is now entirely on my life passions and I feel strong, despite the vaguely hollow feeling of still not quite getting how normal relationships work. But the difference is, now I can pretty much laugh at it instead of diving face first into a pit of emotional despair. I was told that if you're a nice guy only to get laid, you aren't really nice and more of a suck-up loser who expects rewards for being a decent human being. My brother-in-law is like this. He got a girl's number then flipped S because she didn't want to date him and told her she was wasting his time. He's a nice guy who only sees women as objects and doesn't see them as people. He's not that attractive and only finds girls who look like PRN stars attractive. He refuses to go for anyone else, claiming he has standards. He's had various girls who are his friend have an interest in him, but because they are brunette and chubby he turns them down. They have to be blonde. Perfect body. Big BBS. I've tried to talk to him about his view but nothing helps, and I'm afraid he's going to end up alone and blaming everyone else. There is a point where it kind of clicked that it can't be that it's all the women that are wrong. It followed that I assumed it was me that was wrong. Which kind of hurts when you think about it. After a while I realized it at least wasn't 100% of me that was wrong. Maybe some 5% I can identify and work towards. I'm not really looking for a relationship anymore, as I'd rather work on myself for the time being. I feel it would be unfair to myself and the person I'd be with. Used to be kinda nice guyish. Unable to understand why no one was interested. It's them, not me. I'm too nice. And so on. Had a friend online who developed feelings for me that I did not reciprocate. Saw things on the flip side and kinda realized two things: you can't change who you have feelings for. And it's very entitled to expect someone to just feel the same way, and I would not want to date myself, so working on improving myself to address the latter. In more recent times I saw a video about incels by the YouTuber ContraPoints that helped me further question my mindset. Would be curious of what current nice guys make of the video. Stopped when a friend of mine said I was basically nice guys in a nutshell. After that, it never came off my head and I started to get more quiet and think before saying. Though I'm still ashamed of my old nice guy personality. But you've realized your mistake and matured. The fact that you're ashamed means you're growing. If you weren't ashamed or embarrassed by your past self, it would mean you weren't growing. I was always the guy who was flirting with every girl and I was just socially inept. Now I'm socially inept but more respectful and mindful of it. Probably high school. Realized that being nice wasn't an achievement but a prerequisite for social interaction. When I realized nice guys don't finish last. Boring guys do. Yes, this a million times. Being nice is still a positive. But if that's your only positive and you base your identity on it, chances are you aren't very interesting as a person. Nice is the minimum requirement. People don't want partners who are nasty to them. If all you can provide in a relationship is the bare minimum, you're going to be beaten out by every single person who can do the minimum plus at least one other thing. When I was 14 I was the typical I need a girlfriend, I don't care who kind of kid. Then I stumbled across Ryan Higa's channel and saw his Forever Alone video, where he makes fun of that crowd. Then he says something along the lines of, if you're watching this channel you're probably top young to be stressing over finding a soulmate. Go out and just have fun with your life. I've never had something just click with me quite like that moment. Then when I embraced being single all my friends thought I had low self-esteem and was depressed. I was actually having the time of my life those years. Thank you, Ryan. Hi. That's pretty much my current status. I've been alone for over 10 years but trying to have fun on my own. Are you sure we are doing right embracing being single? Just accepting we will be alone and stop trying? I'm 33 already and feel like I missed and still missing something. But not because I didn't tried. Just reached my limit of fails and stopped trying. Trying only got me pain, so I use my time and efforts on things that give better results. Kinda just grew out of it when I saw being overly nice wasn't going to get me women's. Apparently talking to them like everyone else and not making a big show of a basic human kindness, lending your jacket to a chilly female friend etc. will make most people like you. When you make a big spectacle of yourself about being nice, then people will see right through it. From the start of my junior year of high school to about winter vacation of senior year, I started putting forth my energetic yet surprisingly quiet nature as a personality rather than a design flaw. I started doing things, as opposed to sitting back and avoiding judgment, as if other people's opinions really mattered. Once I was able to find myself, I no longer needed to draw sympathy from everything around me. I also developed opinions, which helped me find an identity, and embraced places where I remained neutral and reinforced why I was neutral there. That one specifically helped out a ton with self-confidence. Of course, I still have my days. It sucks, but it never lasts long. Best part is, I still find time to be nice to people. As in actually kind. After all, nice guys are just the empty shells of normal guys, built on shallow reasoning and pandering to the basic needs of people. while lacking the necessary tools to keep anyone truly happy. All of that can be rewritten easily. Still a virgin though. But that stuff takes time. I've barely got a foot into college. As of post-date, the height of my nice guy-ness was when I was working at a movie theater. I never really pressured anyone into giving me a chance. But I was generally friendly with everyone and I never made enemies. Until this one girl. She worked day shift while I worked night, so we hardly ever saw each other. But every time our schedule overlapped, she would make a point to avoid me, never talk to me, and just glare at me when she saw me. Finally, after a few months, I confronted her and asked why she didn't like me. Her response: "Not everyone has to like you." Which got me thinking. At first it was a lot of thinking it wasn't fair. She didn't even know me. I wrestled with this mental block for a few weeks. Basically going through the 7 stages of grief but with this scenario. Then, when I finally accepted it, I realized that she doesn't have to like me. And I don't have to care either. After that, I got a huge self-esteem boost. What does it matter if someone thinks I'm better off being just friends? That's their opinion, and I don't have to care. I can stay friends and find romance elsewhere. Eventually, I did find my soulmate. We're happily married. Have been for 3 years. We've never had what we would call a fight, but a few disagreements did happen. I break my own rule with her, though, because I definitely care what she thinks of me. I don't know whether it was because I had no sisters or not. In high school, I was attracted to most girls. As such, I considered them all potential romantic partners unless I had ruled them out for friendship, bad attitude, or some physical repulsion. This still left plenty of fish. I had major crushes constantly. I was a serial monogamist. The thing was that when I was single and asked out a crush, and they turned me down, I was angry at them. Because what had I done to exclude myself from their dating pool? Shouldn't they give me a chance and see? I followed up 3 times and had to be told 3 times they didn't want to date me because they didn't like me like that. I was casting a wide net and I expected women were doing the same. I had to learn most of them didn't see men the way I saw women. And then I had to change the way I saw women. There was this girl I was into. She was seriously shy and I started to invite her to stuff with my friends and me. She started to smile more and I thought, hey, she smiles more because of me. Technically yes, but not because I was so nice, but because she got to hang out with people, which I realized way later, so she must be into me. So I asked her and she said no. But boy, I was furious. I started actually insulting her and even made her cry over text. That was the first situation where I realized I was not the good guy in this story. I was an egoistical teen. But it first went better after she cut off contact and I started to reflect on what the F I was doing. I apologized later to her. A year later I dated another girl, but she ended it directly after a month, which led to more reflection and the realization that I just acted up a personality to get people to like me and got mad when that didn't work. While the second girl ended it, she said she was thankful that I wasn't getting mad at her. Which kind of shook up my whole world. Because I never wanted to be the guy that nobody liked because he was aggressive if he didn't get his way. And after that I mainly grew up and realized on the way that I never even liked the girls but just wanted to have a girlfriend just for the sake of it. I never cared for the person itself. So I started to take a big break and get my S together. Some years later now I'm mentally stable and found a girl I really care for and who really cares for me. I still feel horribly sorry for all the things I said to the first girl. When I realized that the girls I liked were funny, smart, interesting, kind, and good looking, at the same time, I was nice. That's it. Why would a girl want to be with me when she had so much more offer than me? I changed when I went to university and started working out. Joining clubs instead of spending all my free time in my room. Putting an effort into how I dressed was a big one too. I thought it was cool to not care about looks, but I just looked like a slob who wore track pants every day. A lot of guys would get more interest from girls if they put the slightest bit of effort into personal grooming and clothing. Greater than when I realized that the girls I liked were funny, smart, interesting, kind, and good looking. Greater than at the same time, I was nice. That's it. Why would a girl want to be with me when she had so much more offer than me? Far down here in the post. But still true as F.